Home is where our stories begin. Our Town, Our Kids works with local Kansas communities to reduce the number of their youth at risk for involvement in the juvenile justice system.
Hello, my name is Mary Esther Edwards, and I will be discussing some hot topics that continue to be discussed within the juvenile justice system. The hot topics that this Ignite video will cover is homeless children and youth, human trafficking, restorative justice, 2 KDOC initiatives, and a legislative update. Homeless children and youth within Kansas continues to be a hot topic within the juvenile justice system. Being homeless is defined as lacking a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence, according to the Kansas State Department of Education. The Kansas State Department of Education aids in advocating for homeless children and youth. For instance, homeless children and youth have the same rights to their access of education, as well as being eligible to receive free meals such as breakfast and lunch through their school. However, the youth has to provide documentation from a homeless shelter or educational liaison, indicating their status as homeless to be eligible. The child and youth will attend the same school they were attending prior to becoming homeless, or a school that is closer to their housing arrangements, whether it is a shelter, group home, or temporary sleeping arrangements. The educational liaison works closely with the youth, schools, and social services that make sure that the youth's education and services are met. Being homeless increases a youth's chances of becoming involved with the juvenile justice system through truancy or attendance issues, running away, loitering, shoplifting, and can increase their possibility of using alcohol and drugs. This diagram provides a snapshot of the juvenile homeless rates in Kansas. For instance, in 2018, there were a reported 9,265 homeless students in Kansas, with approximately 74% of students sleeping in another household. 10% of the total number of homeless students are considered unaccompanied minors who are on their own with no parents or guardians. Besides governmental and social welfare agencies, nonprofit agencies, and churches provide outreach services to homeless youth to aid in decreasing their chances of ending up in the juvenile justice system. Again, being homeless within Kansas continues to stay in the spotlight within the criminal justice system on both the juvenile and adult side. The second topic that continues to trend within the juvenile justice system is human trafficking. According to Kansas DCF, human trafficking is one of the largest and fastest growing criminal industries in the world. It is based on recruiting, harboring, and transporting people for the purposes of exploitation. Both sex trafficking and labor trafficking occur in Kansas with adults and children as victims. Kansas's location and interstate system make it a major targeted area for victims of human trafficking. The Polaris Project is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that, according to their website, is a leading leader in the global fight to eradicating modern slavery. Polaris seeks to systematically disrupt human trafficking networks, help survivors restore their freedom, and prevent more victims. According to this fact sheet created by the Polaris Project, there were 8,759 human trafficking cases open through the hotline. The number one form of human trafficking in 2017 was sex trafficking, with the majority of the victims being female. 1/3 of the victims were minors. To see the full report, please visit the OTOK website or the polarisproject.org. Researchers continue to train law enforcement and social service workers on how to identify and interview a victim of human trafficking. Jennifer Montgomery, the Director for Human Trafficking, Education, and Outreach, conducts training within the state of Kansas. Ms. Montgomery indicated that youth between the ages of 12 to 14 are targeted for sex trafficking within Kansas, with the majority of youth being females. Now that we have briefly touched on human trafficking in Kansas, let's discuss restorative justice. Another trending topic that continues to be discussed within the criminal justice system is restorative justice. Restorative justice is another approach to thinking about crime and responding differently to crime. Restorative justice practices are less punitive than the current criminal justice system. According to restorativejustice.org, Restorative justice is a theory of justice that seeks to repair the harm that is caused by criminal behavior. There are three main stakeholders that need to come together to meet the criterion of a fully restorative process: the victim, the community and government entity, and the offender. The main foundational principles of restorative justice are: crime causes harm, and justice should focus on repairing that harm. The individuals who are most affected by harm should have the opportunity to participate in the resolution. And the responsibility of the government is to maintain order, and of the community is responsible for building peace. These principles of restorative justice are completed by including all parties involved in the incident, encountering with the individual who committed the act and the individual who was harmed by the act, making amends and reintegration of the individuals back into the community. For instance, restorative justice can be used in cases such as damage to property or shoplifting. Let's use the example of a used shoplifting items from a store. The restorative justice practitioners would ask, what harm was done and to whom? What needs have arisen based on that harm? And whose obligation is it to meet those needs? The harm that was done to the store owner, the items were returned, but the owner's trust and space were violated. A complete restorative justice approach is to hold a community conference where all parties that were involved in the shoplifting incident, as well as the store owner, would sit in the room with a professional mediator or facilitator to rectify the harm that was done. The purpose of the community conference is to let the group collectively come to an agreement of how the harm should be rectified in lieu of receiving a punishment through the criminal justice system. Two new initiatives that KDOC Juvenile Services are looking into are the Parenting Project and Access. The Parenting Project will be training facilitators to provide parenting classes and skills. According to their website, the Parent Project's mission is to develop parent training programs for parents raising difficult or out-of-control children. They are committed to providing highly effective programs that are affordable for every parent. For more information, you can visit their website at theparentproject.com. The second initiative that KDOC is working in collaboration with the National Creaton Foundation that is leading the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention National Girls Initiative to reduce reliance on incarceration for girls while building, expanding, and supporting a continuum of care through community-based supports and services. This initiative focuses on females because of the gender inequality issues that arise when girls and young women come into contact with the criminal justice system. Jeanette Paya Espinosa, president of the National Creaton Foundation, stated that girls are disproportionately arrested, formally prosecuted, detained, and incarcerated in the juvenile justice system for offenses that pose little or no threat to public safety. The National Girls Initiative is a reflection of commitment to ensuring that when girls come into contact with the juvenile justice system, that is rare, fair, and beneficial. There's much work to do, and they are committed to getting it done. Dr. April Terry, an OTOK team member, is a research partner currently serving on the committee to implement this initiative in Kansas. The Access Committee is working on creating a toolkit that aids in addressing continuum of care for girls that are at risk of entering or involved in the juvenile justice system. For more information about this project, please see the handout located on the OTOK website. Now that we have discussed two new initiatives by KDOC, let's discuss a recent legislative update. On April 12, 2019, Governor Kelly signed Senate Bill 77 that amended the Kansas Code for Care of Children, SYNC code, that requires law enforcement and the Department of Children and Families, DCF, to work together when a child is accused of having inappropriate sexual behavior with another child or adolescent. DCF will provide voluntary counseling services to the child or adolescent. Unless the youth is determined to be of high risk in continuing inappropriate sexual behavior, then counseling becomes mandatory. In order to learn more about this bill, please see Senate Bill 77. The purpose of this Ignite video was to discuss a couple of trending topics within the juvenile justice system. We discussed the issue of homeless children and youth, human trafficking, restorative justice, two new initiatives within KDOC, like the Parenting Project and Access, and a legislative update. Thank you for your time and attention during this video. Have a great day.
Our Town, Our Kids is a pilot project funded through the Kansas Department of Corrections, Kansas Advisory Group, and the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. The university group is K-State Juvenile Justice Collaborative, a multidisciplinary team from Kansas State University, Fort Hays State University, and K-State Extension. Ultimately, Our Town, Our Kids aims to empower local communities with a scalable, comprehensive set of tools which will stand as an exemplar to other counties across Kansas and beyond. For more information, please go to our website at ourtownourkids.org or reach out to us directly with questions, concerns, and feedback. Thank you for your time and attention.